guys, welcome to my channel. So nice to see you here. This video is going to be all about how I transitioned, and if you want, how you can transition from a raw food diet, vegan diet, to the carnivore diet or the kind of healing carnivore diet. It's not just carnivore, there are other things. And we'll get into that. So I'm going to get into things like how to overcome cravings, what kind of foods to eat, kind of a general plan of what you can eat, and different things to look out for. So the question is, why is it that there are so many raw vegans or vegans that are quitting nowadays, especially long-term vegans, and is it something they're lacking in their diet, or are they supposed to be eating a different way? I understand, coming from a raw vegan diet mostly. I did do veganism for a while, but I found I felt worse on it, so I kind of stayed towards the raw vegan side. And that I've been vegan since I was in my early teens. The reason why most of them are long-term is because they've done this diet for such a long time. They are the ones that are coming off of it because they've done it for a long time, and they've, put more stress or strain on their bodies, or more damage to their bodies. I know this is a very controversial subject, and I know what the vegan haters say about this topic and what they say, but first of all, that is such a different topic to go on to. Like, I could just make a video kind of responding to the vegan hate out there, and what it comes down to is everybody has their own bodies, and you just have to do what you have to do. I didn't necessarily want to become carnivore because I was forced to become carnivore, okay? My body was in such a bad state. I had severe ulcerative colitis, and then I had chronic H. pylori bacteria. I was severely anemic. My hair was extremely thin, and it kept falling and falling and falling out, and I was like scared. My bones were extremely brittle, and I lost most of the cartilage almost all the cartilage, I think, in my knees. I didn't get it checked, but my knees grind severely when I walk up the stairs, and then all my joints click as well. I do think there are a lot of lacking things now in this world of commercial food and stuff, but I think it has to do more with that we simply can't get everything we need from the fruits and vegetables. And that's just it. There's still the issue of protein. What started from the very beginning, the beans and whatever they say, there's so much protein in kale and all this, it just isn't enough, or it isn't the kind of protein that the body really needs. When I first started eating meat, my hair stopped falling out completely within a week, which is, there you go. Whereas I used to have blackouts and stars in my eyes, have to breathe really heavily, I feel like I'm gonna faint. I was very, very anemic, and this led to kind of an early pregnancy because of the anemia, and that is proven. So you just can't get all your iron from fruits and vegetables. You can't. Like, even if you're taking chlorella and you're taking spirulina and all these things that have highest protein, you just can't get them, or maybe they're just a different kind of protein. I mean, I don't know. All I know is that when I'm eating meat, it's different, and it just works, and it gives you strength. The iron can be used in the body. So whether you should be taking multivitamins or minerals, I think you should be taking them regardless, because there's so much lacking minerals out there, and I don't think it's a bad idea. But in my own case, I found that the tablet multivitamins are much more better assimilated in my body than the capsules, and so you might just want to look out for that. For optimal health, I do not think we can do without protein, because I know how I felt when I was raw vegan, and I know how I feel now being a carnivore, or mainly carnivore, but plus it's been over 4 months now, and I have actually had some cravings for fresh vegetables, and the main one really was cucumbers. One of the first cravings I had after about 3 months, cucumbers and apples. And I know those apples specifically are very healthy for ulcerative colitis. And another issue I want to address is the mucus, that they say, you know, we have to be cleansing all the time to get rid of this mucus in our intestines. I think there is a protective lining in the intestines that's very important for protect. When you're just eating fruits and vegetables, you're cleansing, you're detoxing, you're getting rid of this mucus. But when I ate the meat, what I think is happening is that protective lining was starting to accumulate, so there was no harshness on the intestines, and those ulcers were not being formed in the intestine from that constant rubbing, whooshing, fiber flowing. So I think it's actually a protective layer that helps us to not develop things like ulcerative or Crohn's or irritable bowel syndrome and all those other things. The issue of constipation. Now this is kind of hard, because when you're first beginning the carnivore diet, there is the issue of constipation. First of all, your body is like trying to grab hold of the actual meat and highest density protein that it can get. So it's gonna want to grab hold of it and use it to the tiniest bit that it can digest and use the nutrients from. And so it might hold on to it a little bit longer at the beginning. Also, like I said, that protective layer is also building up, and the good flora, bacterium has to be rebuilding. Because a lot of the problems with the digestive problems, like 90%, come from H. pylori bacteria. And a lot of people have this bacteria, and basically it starts from here and it goes all the way down, and it can screw up a lot of your digestion and give you things like IBS and Crohn's and colitis and bleeding. So it takes time for especially the good bacteria, so you have to give it some time. You know, it's like constipation is the thing that I think a lot of people don't go on to the carnivore diet because they're afraid of. But you have to think about things differently when you're on the carnivore diet. When you're on a vegan or raw food diet, you've been trained to think a certain way. There's their theories and all that, and you learn those ways. But now you're on the carnivore diet, you really have to stretch and like make new pathways in your brain, because those things don't really apply anymore. The reason why you're constipated is more so because the body digests meat much more efficiently than it does you know, carrots, fruits or vegetables. Those things just pass through you so quickly. You can eat like this much meat, right? And then when you have a bowel movement, you notice you poop like 3 little things like this, like deer poop. When I first started, TMI, whatever, when I first started, I know this is gonna help people. I had like deer poop, and I've heard that before from the strictly carnivores. They poop like a deer, just tiny little things, because the body is really efficient at taking that protein. That's what it mainly uses, so you don't really end up with much. Whereas in your raw food diet, you're always eating such huge bulk, and you have a lot of fiber, and so everything just kind of comes out. So why does it look like Sometimes we eat lettuce, spinach, carrots. It looks almost the same as when we ate it because your body is not really digesting it. So that's just it. And then as soon as I stopped that was when I had extreme ulcerative colitis. When I stopped that, it changed, like I said, to tiny deer poop. And it was black. And that's another concern. It was like, why is my poop black and all that? I don't know specifically why it's black, like the biology or microbiology behind that. But after over 4 months now, being on this diet, it's not black anymore. And it looks like on that poop scale rating thing, it's like, I think number 1 or number 2. So I'm not going to get into that, but it's healthy now and it's not black, it's normal color and everything. You should be more concerned whether it's going to be white because that means your body's not digesting any of that. So black maybe means on the spectrum that is really digesting it. That's just like a little, I don't know for sure, but I know it will regulate and it will be better. Another thing that you can do if you are constipated, and this is what I did at the very beginning because I was the most constipated at the beginning, and I drank the diatomaceous earth, and that's really good for helping sweep out and bind to the bad bacteria. The black charcoal powder is very good for drawing the bad bacteria that you want to be killing off, and you can also be killing it off with raw honey because it's natural antibiotic, and things like raw milk, not cooked pasteurized milk, but raw milk, if you can get it, is one of the best things you can do during this time because it really helps build your good microflora, and it really helps kind of with digestion and the ease of elimination. Also, vitamin D droplets are good for the killing of the H. pylori and the bad bacteria. Also for the killing of getting rid of the H. pylori is cabbage juice. But depending on the state of your stomach, if you have ulcers in your stomach, or if you have bad acid reflux, when I first began the fresh cabbage juice, I couldn't drink it because it just gave me such terrible heartburn. But if I mix like maybe a quarter of it in a cup with 3/4 of apple juice, it went down easily, and I also got the benefits. And then I realized that I was able to up the take of the fresh cabbage juice with the fresh apple juice. And that just goes to show that there's less resistance because there's less of the H. pylori bacteria. Another thing for constipation, you can be juicing. I juice maybe like 2 or 3 times a week depending on how I'm feeling. Celery with grapefruit. That's just one base juice that is extremely refreshing, and it makes you feel really good. Another juice is celery, grapefruit, lime, and pineapple, and that is like so delicious. I love that one. I don't suggest that you do anything about the weight gain until you feel like you're strong enough and like you've really gotten a handle on the diet and you're not having any more symptoms. Until then, don't be worried about the weight gain. It's a natural thing, and mostly that's how people are meant to look. Like a healthy person is meant to look like that. People are meant to be strong, not be weak, and not be anemic. And I transitioned after 3 months. I transitioned to natural cravings and natural kind of intermittent fasting. Also, another thing you can be doing that's gonna help you with digestion. Say if you eat like a lot of bacon and eggs, and you find like the oil is not really setting well because you can't really, your body is adjusting from a glucose-based diet to a protein diet. So kind of something to help it, like help your stomach burp and go down and be digested and all that, is coconut oil. You know how you've probably heard the term, you need oil to fight oil, or you need oil to break down oil, or to burn oil, I don't know, to get rid of oil, whatever. So coconut oil, I have not found any other oil that works except coconut oil. The raw coconut oil, if you take some of that after your meal and you feel you have indigestion, you can take some raw coconut oil with some tea, and that works really well for me, and I use that like almost every day. Even in the morning when I wake up, that's kind of like the main thing that I have, and it helps kind of with the digestion, and it helps break down the protein energy and the fat energy from the day before or from the night before that I had a late night, or I ate late. So from the weight loss that you had on the raw vegan or vegan, you can eat more volume and you still could lose weight, whereas on the carnivore diet you'll naturally want to eat less because there's more energy within a small amount of meat. So that's where the natural smaller portions come in when you're on the carnivore diet. If you want to be losing weight, you can have smaller portions, and that's like after many months, depending on, like I said, how long it took you to feel healthy and be healthy again. But you can eat a smaller portion because your body already knows how to digest it, and that's another thing that is kind of different from the raw food diet, is the quantity that you're eating. Also on the carnivore diet, this is kind of obvious, but to lose weight you can be eating carbs, even though there is a kind of bread that you can eat. It's the sourdough bread, and it's supposed to be the one that comes from the bakery, that is fresh. It is heavy, so you know that the sourdough starter is there. If you want to eat bread, eat that kind of bread because the sourdough starter has the good bacteria in it already. Now I can eat a salad, a green salad with some fish, and I just have gotten to this phase where I love fish. I make baked fish or grilled fish, especially mackerel. The fish are extremely good for weight loss as well, so I have a salad with that, and that'll be kind of my dinner. I do suggest having smaller meals throughout the day if you're first starting out, because you don't want to have a big meal and it be too heavy, and it's going to be harder for your digestion, and then you might be actually more constipated. Raw milk, kefir, if you can get it, is extremely beneficial, but you should be taking the dairy kind more over the coconut kind. Coconut kind has more kind of other ingredients in it, and if you can get raw milk and make your own kefir, you can buy little packets, you put it in a jar of milk, you put it in your cupboard and leave it there like overnight or something. It's really easy to make your own raw milk kefir if you are that kind of person and wants to do that. I personally love boiled eggs, and if you do have a lot of cravings, what you can do is probably the first meal of the day, you can eat about 4 boiled eggs. And that is like just gonna help you so much throughout the day with cravings and with overeating and having that super hunger when you're first starting out. I am doing that now, and it's really helping me with cravings and not eating things like the sourdough bread. If you want to have bread, instead of having bread, you can have the boiled potatoes with your meat, and boiled potatoes are very soothing and they're very good for your microbiome as well. Borscht soup I found so healing and helpful to me. I still have it to this day. In a pressure cooker, I'll cook my chicken or my beef, and I would get like the packets of the borscht powdered soup. Like, it's just a package. It's kind of like a Polish thing, I guess. And then I would add that to my broth, and then I would have the broth with the meat. And one time I had that, I just had the deepest cleaning, that was at the very beginning. That was like the second or third day of when I first started, and I had so much, like, my stomach was so bloated and full of so much stuff. Everything just came out. Beets, they're really good for cleansing the blood and for cleansing the liver. The one from the packet, which is kind of the powdered beet, and it's still really good. It's just good too. The funny thing is that when I first started, soon after I started to get cravings for chocolate, which I never had cravings before for chocolate. It was very strange, and so I did get the dark chocolate just because I know that it's healthier. And I do from time to time snack on dark chocolate. So if that craving does come up, I don't think it's a bad thing, because I know that there's a lot of benefits in dark chocolate. The vegans and the raw vegans, and me too, I was very scared going on to this carnivore diet. I didn't know what was going to happen, and I didn't really have anyone to kind of guide me personally. I was just listening to a lot of the Heal Your Gut guy, and there was another guy I was listening to, but I don't remember his name. But I gained a lot of the information from him, and then some extra from other places. So if you are starting, you don't know where to start or what to do, you can contact me, or you can just watch a lot of the Heal Your Gut guy videos, and he explains like what you can eat, like the cured meats and the milk. The thing that he really talks about is the digestion. This is like the thing that got me pretty well coming from a raw vegan diet, because they say that it's the best diet, right? But if you go on to see the digestive systems and what those animals eat and how they're all different, like the chicken has a special sac where it's able to digest the grains, and then the cow has so many stomachs to be able to digest the greeny things that we as raw vegans, lettuce and all this, it doesn't digest well. So that is like a huge point, that we're closer to the carnivore physiology of the carnivore animals than the grains and the grassy animals, eating animals. Like, should we listen to and trust the medical industry because of all of the stuff that we've been said? I mean, I really don't trust the medical industry either, but there comes a time, like when you're on the hospital bed and you don't know what to do anymore, and there's nothing you can do, you can't even have strength to do anything. At those times, the medical industry can help us, but we shouldn't rely on them for the rest of our lives. Take them for what is needed to get through that hardest healing process, and the healing that we cannot even do through food. Because sometimes it's so hard. It might take longer. Maybe we can do it through food, but it might take longer, or it might be much harder, or there'll be more pain for us. So I did take a lot of medication for the ulcerative colitis. I took it orally, and I took it other orally. I took it the other way, and like it really helped, like so to a huge extent it helped me. So I think it's really good for that we shouldn't disclaim them, that there is a point that they can help us, but the rest we cannot, because they told me, oh, you'll be taking this for years. I'm like, no way, that's not possible. I'm not going to be screwing up my liver and my body and all this for years. So I took it for a couple months until I felt better. Also, I was taking antibiotics for the H. pylori. I had to, because it was just chronic. And then I had to rebuild. Antibiotics are extremely bad when you're dealing with digestive issues. But I just had to do it, and had to, kind of build it back up from there, because I couldn't deal with the enormity of the H. pylori. I had to kind of just give myself a quick start like that. And I think there's a big thing about when you're first starting, because you're scared, you still want to hold on to your raw food vegan diet and also be doing the carnivore diet, and oh, let me just try a little bit of the carnivore diet and then I'll just kind of keep this one on the side just in case. Well, that does not work at all. Either you're on one side or you're on the other side. When you get more healed on the carnivore diet, then certainly you'll be able to eat other things. But right now, for the healing process, those raw foods and things that's what's making you sick. That's what's harming your digestion. It's not holding, it's just like diarrhea coming out of you. So just leave those things aside for now. That's what I just really suggest. And just focus on the carnivore and, trust in it. And it will work out for you. And just don't give up on it, just keep going, trust. It's like walking in the dark, but you trust that it's the right thing. That's all I'm saying. Just trust that it's the right thing, because I was really scared too, but I had to let go of it because basically I got so mad at the raw food diet.
I have to go pee.
Go. I got so mad at the raw food diet that I just kind of like threw it out of my head. I'm like, this is the thing that made me in this much pain and took my will to survive, my will to want to live and and be a part of something good. And I couldn't even be a benefit to anyone else because of where this diet has gotten me. I know there are people out there that do not have this experience at all. And that is wonderful for you. And I'm happy for you. But that doesn't mean you should be bashing people that have problems and that really just have to go on the carnivore diet. And not necessarily that they want to go. This is what they know also. They want to stay on it also. But their bodies have given up. It's not working for their bodies anymore. They need to switch over to the carnivore diet. I love you too, sweetie.
I love you too, Mommy.
I love you too, Skylar. It depends on you. It depends on your body. I'm not saying they're bad because I'm eating salad and apples and whatever else, kale, from time to time. I do have a smoothie, but now that I'm healed, I don't have it only. It is a supplement to the carnivore diet. It is not the main diet. And the fact is, you are going to put on weight. I know that's a scary thing coming from a raw food vegan diet. You went on it because you want to lose weight, because you want to look thin and lean and whatever. But if you want to heal, if you want to take this seriously, raw honey, extremely beneficial. I practically ate so much honey at the beginning because my blood sugar levels were up and down, going from primarily glucose to the protein diet. Every time I felt lightheaded or severely weak, all of a sudden, I take a spoon of honey just like that. And I might drink some water after. But that just helped me pick me back up. And then I would do that less and less and less. But at the beginning, the cravings were extremely strong, and I just allowed them because I couldn't have anything sugar-based. No dates, no sweet fruits and all this. I couldn't eat any of that. The only thing that was sweet on the carnivore diet was the honey. And that's how I got through it. I allowed myself to have the honey. It's raw honey, and I knew that it was killing the H. pylori and the bad bacteria, and it was helping the microbiome and the good bacteria in my gut. And over time, after 3 months, I just didn't crave it as much anymore, so I just cut it out, and now I don't miss it at all. Sometimes I will make a drink for digestion as well, and it's like a lime with honey, like tea. Lime juice and honey tea, and that's really good for digestion and for bacteria overgrowth. When I got typhoid fever in Mexico, and I didn't even know it was typhoid fever at that time. but the way I cured it was drinking an extremely large amount of lime with raw honey tea. So I know that that thing really works for getting rid of bad bacteria. It is definitely not lack of carbs, because even on the vegan cooked diet, which is primarily carbs, or the raw food diet is primarily glucose carbs, I was still feeling severely weak. And now on the carnivore diet, I have way more energy and I do not feel weak. It's the iron that makes you feel stronger. And there's iron in protein, there's iron in meat, in fish, in beef, in protein sources. There you find the iron. It is so common for people that go on the raw food or the vegan diet to get their test results and show that they have low iron. They are anemic. And they think, I'm so smart, I'm gonna supplement this into my diet, which is some raw thing or some vegan thing, not raw thing, but some vegan, not animal-based product thing, and they think that they're going to overcome it because they're so smart. Well, I'm telling you, it's going to catch up with you, and basically you're going to get to the point where you have to stop the vegan. And that's what I've been doing throughout the YouTube and throughout everywhere, because this popular vegan thing started, what is it, like 5 years ago or something? I don't even know, but that's how long it took for everybody to start dropping like flies. And everybody's going back to meat now because their bodies just can't handle it. And I'm sorry for the people that actually have like 25 years or 50 years of being raw vegan, and they're the ones that are going after. Why is it your problem? It is not, you should be helping people. And it doesn't matter what they eat to help them to be well. You want them to die because they're not vegan anymore? Would you rather them die than, because people are dying. I felt like dying. I felt that I'm like, I'm done. I want to die now because I can't do this anymore. I feel so terrible. And maybe you don't know what it feels like because your body is just so efficient at being vegan. But a lot of people aren't, and we should be helping people, get them on the right path and help them heal, and not be preaching to them and terrorizing them that they're not vegan anymore because they did it wrong all this time. Who knew? Maybe you're doing it wrong and you don't know either. It's just ridiculous. We're supposed to be helping each other and not. Anyway, can I add sourdough bread? Is it too soon? And I want to bulk up more. Of course you can if you want. You always want to listen to your body. If you can digest it well, if you're not like constipated like after, and does it feel good and all this. You have to always be looking at your own body, because even on the carnivore diet, you want to test things out and see what works for you. And if it doesn't work for you, then I do suggest boiled potatoes, because those are very light digestive food, and anybody from babies to the elderly can eat boiled potatoes. Is it possible to eat too much meat, as I am always hungry and want to eat? No, I don't think it's possible to eat too much meat. Like I said, eat smaller meals maybe, but you do want to be listening to your body. It is trying to heal itself. It's telling you something. You're craving meat, eat meat. I haven't had a bowel movement in 3 to 4 days. Is it stuck inside me? Okay, so like I said, the body is really efficient at digesting protein, and it's not stuck inside you. You have to realize fruits and vegetables are easy to flush through. There's a lot of fiber and water weight, and protein is the main fuel source, so the body is going to want to really get at the nutrients and digest it really well, so it is going to stay in you longer, but when it comes out, it's going to be smaller. You can eat meat, fish, any kind of thing at the same day. So why does my bowel movement smell, and why do I have dark stools? I covered the dark stools before, and also for the smell, I just want to say that your body's just starting out. You have to give it time to build a good microbiome. The more you build up your microbiome, the less smelly it's going to be. Like after now, so many 4+ months after, it is more normal than when I first started. Just trust in the process and keep doing what you're doing. Take the things to kill off the bacteria, the vitamin D, diatomaceous earth, black charcoal powder. So keep taking those things and honey to kill off those bacteria, and eat the right kind of foods, and then it'll be less and less of a problem. Goat cheese or any other cheese is good, as long as when you have the ingredients, make sure that it's like minimal ingredients, that there's no any like sulfites or weird chemicals or weird stuff in it. Obviously that's not good, and that's not real cheese. If you can get the raw fermented kind of cheese, that is incredible. That's the best cheese. Anything fermented is good, has its bacteria, it's going to help build up your bacteria. I just want to share with you a kind of testimony. I was talking to this person, and a lot of the stuff that I covered with you now is from our emailing and conversation. So the person is doing a lot better, and I'm really so happy for him. And I just wanted to share with you, after it's been, I don't even know how long we've been chatting, maybe like 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, I don't know. Anyways, he's feeling much better, right? So I just want to read to you what he has said. Okay, so he says, "Hey, I'm feeling good. I put on quite a lot of weight, and he was very underweight, so this is not a bad thing. My bowel movements are a bit slow, like my body is holding on to the nutrients in case it's starved again. But when I do have a bowel movement, is better." That's really good. Absolutely, I think people need to know about this, because I did ask him whether I can go ahead and make a video about it. "I believe I almost died before I went to hospital. The extreme vegan dieting is very dangerous. It changes your state of mind. More spiritual, but careless. And careless ruins your sexual hormones." And that is extremely true. "You're convinced you're cleansing, but it's your state of mind that's changing while your body is slowly breaking down, adjusting to starvation mode. And then there's the whole thing about your eyes getting lighter. I have seen a few articles about this. It's possible the melanin in your eyes are being broken down, not that you're getting cleaner." This is so interesting, because I've never heard this version. "It makes more sense to me, but will be interesting to see over time what happens to my lighter eyes. Also, since I changed my diet, my back pain has disappeared. And it's been like a short time. Although I still have the clicking joints. I had a massage the other day. I noticed that, and you said you had some and the other time." He says, "Yeah, without your support, I may have not got this far, as I still have people telling me to be careful and slow, eat juicy fruits and vegetables. How do we get into these ways of living? I laugh to myself sometimes about how annoying I was preaching to everyone who was eating meat how it's wrong." That is so true. And I think of the people that are like commenting to the people that go over to Carnivore. I'm like, when are you gonna know that you're wrong? Because I'm not gonna tell you, and I'm not gonna write back to them, but when are they gonna figure out that they were wrong all along? How was my mind being manipulated? What was put there for me to be so blinded? Was it Dr. Robert Moore's YouTube videos? Was it the herbs? I let myself get down to 110 pounds. I never even saw how bad that was. How bad that is. I was comfortable. This vegan agenda is something wrong, and I don't really know the aim. But I do see how the big companies, Bayer and Monsanto, are capitalizing on it. They don't realize that they aren't saving animals. The same companies, Ben & Jerry, Pizza Hut, they make vegan alternatives, but they're still making animal products. Nothing changes except more profit to them. Another I guess thing about the companies. I mean, I've been accused of that meat companies have bought me out and all this. I mean, little old me, hey? Not old. Young me, little young me, eh? No way, I've never... Anyway, what is their aim? Now, I have a theory about what I think their aim is, and my theory is more spiritual based, and I think that a lot of people that are led astray on earth, humanity, always take the high road. And I'm basing this off of the Bible, that the majority of people always take the high road, and most people. And the Bible says that we should not be taking the high road, but the narrow road, right? The narrow path. So I think that the whole thing is the evil forces, I'm just going to say, want to get the people to not have a strong mind and strong will, and to be weak in their bodies, because you're focusing so much on yourself. You can't focus on other people. You can't really help anybody. You're just encased in your own world, and all you see is, I can eat this, I can eat this, I can eat this. It's like the world is not open to you, you know. It's just like yourself. You can't help anyone else, and you can't really do much. So I think that it's the evil forces that are making everyone go on this high road to make them sick, to make them weak, to make them compliant. I have talked, but I really do hope this really helps for the people that are transitioning, that are going through struggles, and that have some kind of like physical problems and they don't know what to do. I hope this answered a lot of your questions. I will try to reply to every comment, and I wish you guys the best of days and the best of health.
Mommy, it's jumping on the couch right there.
Okay, thank you. I'm coming. And I will see you guys in my next video. Till next time.